Microsoft has just detailed every single optimized launch game for the Xbox Series X and S. We have conclusive proof that the Xbox Series X isn't overheating, and some more information about what resolution the Xbox Series X dashboard runs at. There's a lot here to talk about, so let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? It's Randall Thor19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope everyone's having a great day, and if you guys could do me a huge favor, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and please share this video out on social media. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the continued support. Today we got a whole boatload of new information about Xbox Series X as well as Sony's PlayStation 5. They finally revealed the user interface, and while I'm not making a separate video about that, I kind of dig the new user interface, and I'm looking forward to using it when I pick up my system on November 12th to play Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Demon's Souls. But we also did get a ton of new information about the Xbox Series X, and it does look like the preview period for those journalists and influencers who got prototype Xbox Series X's, they have to send their consoles back to Microsoft, and they'll probably receive a retail unit. But just looking online, VentureBeat, Windows Central, and IGN all kind of posted their final previews of the Xbox Series X unit, and I'm really interested in seeing if there's any differences between the prototype units that they sent out and the final retail units that people will be getting on November 10th. Now today in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Xbox Series X dashboard and the resolution it runs at, because I did see a lot of people kind of disappointed, and there's this war going on between the PS5 user interface and the Xbox Series X user interface. We're going to talk about that. We also got proof that the Xbox Series X isn't overheating like some fanboys would want you to believe. We got pictures and thermal images of the consoles compared to the PS4 Pro as well as the Xbox One X, and I think it's going to be eye-opening for some of you to see. But first, we're going to be starting with the launch games, all the optimized launch games for the Series X and Series S. I don't know how many DMs I've gotten in the past couple weeks asking me, hey Rand, what games are launching with the system, and of those games, which are optimized for Series X, you should make a video. And I always kind of thought that Microsoft, when we got closer to launch of the system, would release a launch list of games that were optimized, and here we go. They did exactly that today, and we're going to talk about it. So over at the Xbox Newswire blog, they listed all the optimized games that you'll be able to play on the Series X day one. They say 30 optimized games on day one that look and play best on Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. When you power on your Xbox Series X or Series S on November 10th, you will be greeted by the largest launch lineup in Xbox history. Games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Gears Tactics, and Tetris Effect Connected will be some of the much anticipated next-gen games you can play on day one. The Xbox Series X and Series S will launch with 30 new games playable day one, 20 of them with smart delivery that are upgraded automatically, and thousands of backwards compatible titles across 4 generations. Looking forward to this holiday, there will be more incredible games coming to Xbox Series X and Series S before the end of the year, including Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War launching on November 13th, Destiny 2 Beyond Light launching November 10th, and optimized for Xbox Series X and S on December 8th, and Xbox console launch exclusive The Medium on December 10th, and when Cyberpunk 2077 launches on November 19th, it will look and play best on our next-gen consoles and take advantage of smart delivery technology, giving fans the best version for whatever Xbox console you own. Now, I don't care too much about Destiny 2, but I was under the impression that Destiny 2 would be upgraded for Series X on launch on November 10th, but transitioning back to the 30 optimized titles for launch for Series X and S, I got an image here from Xbox News, and if you're an Xbox fan on Twitter, you should definitely follow this account. You can see all 30 games here that are optimized, whether it's 4K Ultra HD, whether it's smart delivery, which if you don't know what smart delivery is, you basically get the best version of that game for whatever console you're playing on, whether it's the Xbox One or the Series X. And some of these games can go all the way up to 120 frames per second. We know that with Dirt 5, we know Gears 5's multiplayer is 120 frames, we know that Ori and the Will of the Wisp is being updated at 120 frames, so that is what it means to be optimized. Now the 30 games here, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is taking advantage of smart delivery, Borderlands 3 smart delivery, Bright Memory 1.0 smart delivery, Cuisine Royale smart delivery, Dead by Daylight, which is an Xbox Game Pass and smart delivery, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5 smart delivery, Enlisted, Evergate, The Falconeer, which is available via smart delivery, Fortnite, Forza Horizon 4, which is in Game Pass and smart delivery, Gears 5 Game Pass smart delivery, Gears Tactics Game Pass and smart delivery. You kind of get the point, right? Grounded, which they announced today, will run at 60 frames on the Series X, King Oddball, Maneater, Manifold Garden, NBA 2K21, Observer of System Redux, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Planet Coaster, Tetris Effect Connected, The Tourist, War Thunder, Warhammer Chaos Bane, Watch Dogs Legion, WRC9 FIA World Rally Championship, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and yes, Your Grace. Now, one of the things I always pride myself on is giving my honest opinion, even when I know it's going to piss off some of the viewers of my channel. And just looking at the 30 games here that are launching with the Series X and optimized, I'm gonna tell you guys, the launch lineup is not really impressive whatsoever. There's really no must-have exclusive title. It was supposed to be Halo Infinite, but Halo Infinite isn't launching this year. And if you remove that game, this is what you're left with. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing worth playing, because I'll be checking out Assassin's Creed Valhalla day one. I'll be playing Watch Dogs Legions. Tetris Effect Connected looks pretty cool. I'm definitely going to be playing The Falconeer. And yeah, I'm sure I'll load up Forza Horizon 4 and Gears 5 and Grounded to see some of the improvements. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is a game you have to pay for, and I'll be interested in seeing the improvements on that. Dirt 5 I'll be playing as well, but a lot of these other games really don't do it for me. Look, I'm more excited than ever about the future of Xbox. I think they are absolutely going to kill it this generation. We already know about all the new titles that are coming in the future, like Fable and Avowed and State of Decay 3 and Forza Motorsport, plus the addition of the Bethesda studios with Starfield, a new exclusive from Arcane coming soon, potentially Wolfenstein 3, Doom, all that stuff, right? You get it. I've never been more excited about the future of Xbox than I am right now. However, it has to be said that the launch lineup for Xbox Series X is very lacking. I know some people will be pissed off with what I'm about to say next, but the launch of Series X really resembles almost 100% the launch of the Xbox One X. Super Lucky's Tale was the only launch game from Microsoft's first party back in 2017, and when I look at this list, Gears Tactics is the only new launch title for Microsoft's first party, and that is a game that released all the way back in April on PC. Now granted, the Series X is going to be an amazing console, thousands of backwards compatible games that will play better than ever, all that stuff, but I don't even think the Series X launch lineup even compares remotely to what the Xbox One launched with. The Xbox One had exclusives like Rise Son of Rome and Dead Rising 3 and Killer Instinct and stuff like Crimson Dragon. With the Xbox Series X, it's just Gears Tactics, so I can't help but be a little bit disappointed that Halo Infinite didn't make launch. Now, is it a big deal for me that the launch lineup is a little bit sparse? Not really, because Xbox Series X will be the platform I play 99% of all my games moving forward, and it's not just about launch, it's about the next 7 years, and I think Xbox is going to kill it these next 7 years. So let me know what you think about the Xbox Series X launch lineup. Out of the 30 games listed here, which ones are you going to play day one? Make sure you tell me in the comments below. So now we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X overheating issue that popped up last week. You guys recall, right? A bunch of fanboys were spreading FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt that the Xbox Series X was running super hot, and if you touched it in the wrong place, it might actually burn your hand. But we got a bunch of thermal images from Jez Corden over at Windows Central and some more information from Jeff Grubb that completely destroys that entire fanboy narrative. So you can see here, over at Windows Central, Jez used a thermal imaging camera to get the temperatures of Series X. And he says in the article, using a thermal imaging camera, we can get some insights into how warm the Series X gets under load. This is running Monster Hunter World in resolution mode from our main Xbox Series X preview. In resolution mode, Monster Hunter World achieves around 1800p resolution lock, pushing frames per second into the mid-50s. No matter where we scanned the box, we couldn't find a heat signature that went above 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is impressive. Then Jez decided to play Monster Hunter World on the Xbox One X to get a comparison of the heat signature on the Series X versus the One X, and this is what he had to say. Next to a good old Xbox One X also running Monster Hunter World in resolution mode, we see a more dramatic story. The Xbox Series X runs far cooler than the Xbox One X while achieving higher frame rates. Monster Hunter World achieves around 1800p resolution on the Xbox One X while struggling to maintain 40 frames per second. The air temp coming from the Xbox One X vents hits anywhere up to 56 degrees Celsius or 133 degrees Fahrenheit. Jez also says that in standby mode, we found that the Xbox Series X runs at around 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly the same as my Amazon Echo pictured just behind the Xbox Series X here. Now, Jeff Grubb over at VentureBeat did his own testing, which I'll have linked below. He played the Mumbai level from Hitman 2 on the Series X, the Xbox One X, and the PS4 Pro, and this is what he found. The max temperature for the Series X was 50.4 degrees, on the One X it was 54.5, and on the PS4 Pro it was 65 degrees. The average temperature was 47.7 degrees for the Series X and 52 degrees for the One X, with 62.5 being the average on the PS4 Pro, and the minimum temperature was 38.9 for the Series X, 50 degrees for the Xbox One X, and 60 degrees for the PS4 Pro. So Jeff Grubb basically found that the Series X not only displays games at a higher resolution and a better frame rate, it does it while being cooler than the Xbox One X and significantly cooler than the PS4 Pro. We also have a comparison here for Red Dead Redemption 2, the temperature on the Series X versus the One X, and this is the maximum heat output measured for Red Dead Redemption 2. On the Series X, it was 47.2 degrees Celsius, and on the Xbox One X, it was almost 20 degrees higher, coming in at 65.2 degrees Celsius, which is 18 degrees cooler on the Xbox Series X. Now, granted, these are all backwards compatible games. There really are no next-gen games to test on the Xbox Series X, but seeing how confident Microsoft is with the hardware, letting people play it almost a month early, I have no doubt that the Series X is going to be a cool running machine that is going to put out some heat from the top vent, but isn't going to get as hot as the One X or the PS4 Pro, and won't have that red ring of death situation like the Xbox 360. At least hopefully, knock on wood, right? One of the other big talking points today was user interface. PlayStation finally decided to show off the PS5 user interface, and it is running at 4K. However, it certainly seems that right now the Xbox Series X dashboard runs at 1080p. John Linneman over at Digital Foundry had this to say. He said, well, the big problem for me more than anything with the Xbox Dash is the low resolution. I was disappointed with the Xbox One X only offering 1080p UI rendering when PS4 Pro did native 4K, but for 1080p UI to continue on Series X, that's really not acceptable to me. And Jez Corden tweeted, Digital Foundry confirms the dashboard is 1080p on Series X. This is odd because marketing materials I saw previously, which contained other information that turned out to be real, said the dashboard would be in 4K. Hopefully Microsoft is working on bringing it to 4K. Jeff Grubb tweeted out that the Xbox Series X user interface is 1080p right now, but the embargo says specifically not to dwell on the UI elements because it isn't final and will be updated before launch. If it's still 1080p, then that would be frustrating. And asked why Microsoft decided to potentially go with the 1080p user interface for Series X, John Linneman said, I believe they wanted to reserve more resources for games, which is fair, but I feel like the Series X should have enough spare resources to handle a higher resolution user interface. So where do I come in on all this? It's a little bit disappointing that the Series X probably won't have a 4K dashboard. I know they say the dashboard isn't fully updated yet, but something tells me based on all this that they're going to keep the Series X dashboard at 1080p, giving more resources to the developers for the games as they're running on the Xbox Series X. I have an LG OLED 65-inch CX. It is a beautiful television, and I kind of do wish the dashboard was displayed in 4K like the PS5 user interface, but at the end of the day, is it that big of a deal? Not really. I'm not spending hours upon hours looking at the user interface. Whenever I do get on the Xbox, it's to play a game or watch something on Netflix. So those are my thoughts. What do you think about the dashboard situation? Are you fine with it being 1080p, or do you wish it was in 4K? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, share this video out on social media, or tell a friend about the channel. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified immediately whenever I drop a new video like this. If you want to take your support for the channel even further, you can hit the join button, where you will get access to channel badges and emotes for the Xbox 2 podcast we do every Friday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.